People wonder why we have physical collections, why people even bother collecting this stuff and keeping it going in the first place. Games like Adventure back in the day, this is the first game ever with an Easter egg. Yes, it had its own little Easter egg built into it by the developer. Really cool little touch. We have great games like X-Men 2 The Clone Wars for the Sega Genesis. Absolutely incredible game, doesn't have an intro, perfect playthrough, it's a little bit hard, but it's so much fun. Then we have my favorite game of all time, guys. We've got Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is my favorite game of all time. It doesn't even come close. What do these games all have in common? What they have in common is there's no DLCs, no day one patches, no garbage. We didn't have any microtransactions or loot boxes or any of the crap that plagues today's games. It's funny when I look back and I'm like, I had a game and if it had a minor bug, and it was always so minor, it would be a graphical glitch or something would happen, but I never really had any soft locks or hard locks very often. Everything was internally quality controlled. When you had these little seals here, you'll see this little seal over on the corner here, and it says, Official Nintendo Seal of Quality. Where did that stuff go, guys? I know the Nintendo still has its own internal processes, but most developers treat us like they're mules. They treat us like they're slaves that actually have to quality test their games. So they do what's called a pre-release. So you got games coming out that are half-baked, absolute garbage, and it's our job, if we like them enough, to fix their games for them and tell them what's wrong. And then they go ahead and make some of those fixes, and then they say, oh well, you know what? Here's a day one patch on release day that addresses some of them. It's getting ridiculous. I think that if we're going to be doing this, then we should be amply paid for it, or at least rewarded in some way. The price of those games that are pre-release, I think they should actually come down. I really do. I think that if you're going to make us do the work, then those games should actually be cheaper. But do we see any of those cost reductions come back to us? No, we don't. Because the developers are scumbags. Everything's so corporate. That's why I look at indie games now. We got things like UFO 50, Iron Meat, that kind of thing that's coming out. I just love those kind of games where it's just indie developer that does it for the love of the game. You got things like Cuphead. Sure, Cuphead had bugs, but they went ahead and they fixed it, and they did a good job. That's one of the indie games that I think of what is like the magnum opus. MDHR should be really commended for that. So when I'm saying that the video game industry is different, I'm saying that I miss the days when a game came out and it was quality through and through. Today's games just don't hold up. There's just so many patches involved. I can't even handle when I get a game, I pop the disc in, and then I got a 40 gig download to download the patches, and half of them are game-breaking patches anyways. It's almost worse than when it started up. Where does this stop, guys? We had Cyberpunk 2077 that was released in such a sorry state that CD Projekt Red became a tarnished image in everybody's minds. It's hard to imagine that they came back from that. I think that No Man's Sky as a real comeback story as well. Cyberpunk 2077 managed to get there in the end, but my god, when that first released, it was absolute garbage. To the point that my wife picked it up for me. I played maybe 30 minutes of it. I said, man, graphically this is great. But when I'm running around on a motorcycle with my wang hanging out, and it's I'm supposed to be wearing pants, and it's what is going on here? And cops are just teleporting everywhere? This shit needs to stop, guys. The quality of games now sucks overall. And it's time that we fight back as consumers. Because if we don't start making the change happen, this is just going to be the shit they shovel down our throats all the time. I'm getting sick of it. I know you're sick of it. Let me know in the comments what game actually pissed you off when you bought it. What is it you bought that was so abysmal that you were like, how the hell did they release this in this state? For me, it's BioWare's Anthem, Cyberpunk 2077. That would be a runner-up. Let me know in the comments, guys. We'll see you next time here at Koi Fish Gaming. Bye now.